Animal rescue stories make everyone happy. Thankfully, there are wonderful, compassionate people who act when they see animals in distress or suffering. Thanks to these heroes, there were so many amazing rescue stories in 2019. Although it's hard to limit the amount of amazing stories to share, here are 15 great animal rescue stories of 2019. Grab a box of tissues. Great Dane rescued from the freezing cold. Luke the Great Dane found starving and tied up to a metal pole in the freezing cold. Police discovered the dog after being given an anonymous tip and arrived to find Luke starving on the brink of death. Luke was forced to bite off his paw to survive. Luckily, Luke's condition improved and he was able to have the necessary operation. He's now in recovery. Cyclists stopped to help a deer stuck in flooded ruins. If you noticed an injured or trapped animal on the side of the road, you'd probably stop to try and help them, right? But what if that animal was much larger than you and potentially quite dangerous? Would you still risk your safety to help them? For one group of cyclists in Huescar, Spain, they didn't even think twice. The group of cyclists was cycling through heavy torrential rains when they noticed a large deer with massive antlers was trapped in flooded ruins, scared and struggling to stay afloat. The group knew that they had to jump into action to save the drowning animal, even though its large antlers could injure them in the animal's panicked state. Rabbit rescued from lab where vet techs injected him constantly. Fred spent his life in a cage the size of a shoebox at a vet tech school. He was used as a prop for the vet techs to practice restraint techniques and injections. As the tattoo in his ear shows, he was simply known as 21M. But thanks to a student who stepped up to save him, he will spend the rest of his days at Woodstock Farm Sanctuary. 375 cats rescued from illegal slaughterhouse in China. Recently, 375 cats rescued from illegal slaughterhouse in China when a distraught pet owner who lost his cat contacted the animal activist group China Animal Protection Power, CAP, and tipped them off about an illegal slaughterhouse in Tianjin. The CAP raided the slaughterhouse and found a total of 375 cats crammed into 24 wire cages. Thankfully, the CAP was able to get all the cats out of there and were negotiating with police to shut down the slaughterhouse for good. A man rescued a kitten glued to a road. Chuck Hawley was driving and noticed a number of other cars driving over something black in the road. His first thought was that it was a box because it was small enough to fit between the car tires. But when he got closer, he realized it was a tiny, helpless kitten glued to the road. Chuck took her home, renamed her Sticky, and she's a happy part of the family now. Jeffrey Dean Morgan adopts Inseparable donkey and emu. Jack the donkey and Diane the emu have been together since they were brought to the Carolina Waterfowl Rescue after being abandoned by their owner. According to the rescue, when the pair were separated, they became stressed and panicked. The two only calmed once they were reunited and spent all of their time together cuddling and sleeping. The service was concerned that it would be hard for anyone to adopt Jack and Diane, as caring for both a donkey and an emu, let alone a pair as special as this one, could prove to be a tall order. After discovering the interspecies duo, actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan decided Jack and Diane would find a home with him. This little fox had a horrible case of mange, but rescuers refused to turn him away. The Fox Project, a British charity dedicated to helping the red fox, has been rescuing and treating foxes since 1991. This year, the organization rescued Nicholas, a red fox found suffering from a bad case of mange. Thanks to those taking care of him, Nicholas recovered fairly quickly. Neglected pup barely resembled a dog. Then rescuers changed her life. In August, Rescue Dogs Rock received a call about Sarah from a shelter in Georgia. When she arrived at their vet partners, the team was horrified by what they saw. Sarah, it seems, has been a very long time without a hairbrush. Her hair was so tightly tangled that it was pinching her skin, and her fur had a full layer of black dirt. After being rescued by Rescue Dogs Rock, Sarah was completely transformed and is doing much better. Leopard, who fell into a 30-foot deep well, was rescued. Wildlife SOS and the Maharashtra Forest Department successfully rescued a leopard who found herself in a really dire situation. The animal, an approximately 7-year-old female, fell into a 30-foot deep open well in Yadavadi village, India. The rescued dog who almost died multiple times. Augustus suffered horrific abuse. He had large, deep wounds that dripped blood, chemical burns, a gunshot wound in his leg, and unimaginably, even more disturbing injuries all over his body. Severely malnourished and suffering from muscle atrophy, Augustus almost did not look like a dog. It was verging on a miracle that he was still alive at all. Thanks to the Trio Animal Foundation, Augustus is a completely changed dog. From being beaten for elephant rides to freedom. Trekking camps in Thailand offer visitors the chance to be carried through the jungle on the backs of elephants, who are kept in chains and beaten with bullhooks to get them to act as desired. For 4 long years, a sweet elephant named Bundi suffered at one of these camps in Pattaya, Thailand. Thankfully, a team of volunteers from the Wildlife Friends Foundation Thailand, WFFT, Elephant Refuge, stepped in. Bundi is now officially a member of the herd at the WFFT Elephant Refuge. I hope you enjoy these amazing stories. We are so grateful for all the amazing heroes who stepped in to help the animals in need, and hopefully in the new year, there's less cruelty towards animals and a lot more kindness.